What is going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and today we're doing, really surprisingly, some content on Darwin Nunez. I'm joined today by Damon, Drew, and JK, who seems to have managed to get himself sorted. It's a bit dark, Jay. It's a bit dark. You might want to.
You're coming in like Man United trying to get Nunez here. I can't see you.
Yeah. Oh, mate, I tried to fix a mic up today for this laptop, and I've messed up what I used to use now, so I've just had to use my phone.
Drew, you've been struggling with COVID. You started to come back around, getting the land of the living again, and then bang, transfer news is breaking. Darwin Nunez. Pretty much by the sounds of everything that we can see here, it's done. You excited by the transfer? Bit of Uruguay back in the Liverpool team?
Yeah, I think I said to you guys before the stream started, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think it's a big gamble. 80 looks like 80 mil, potentially 100 mil. Going to be our most expensive signing. I hope it doesn't add pressure to him. But, that being said, I trust Klopp, and if there's anyone who can ease the pressure off him and really bring him into the team and make him his best, it's going to be Klopp. So excited to see it on that end, but cautiously optimistic at this point.
Cautious optimism, and I think that reminds me, Damon, of the article that you did for the channel a few days ago, which was just talking about how important this transfer window is as the Liverpool team start to go through development. Do you want to tell everyone a bit about it and just sort of what you meant? Because you got a bit of hate for it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, a couple of SG minions came out, didn't they? But only a couple of them. I got more likes than anything. So, it's a big transfer window, because if we get this wrong, I do see us going backwards. I think we started off brilliantly. We've got Carvalho, Nunez, Ramsey coming in. That's absolutely perfect. I mean, it's the first time we've seen like the likes of Mane and Salah. We're thinking about a future without them now. And I think this is the first time, this first transfer window, where Klopp sort of goes into another era in a way. He's having to change the way he's playing now. I think getting Nunez gives us a different outlet, doesn't it? I think we can't keep relying on a false nine going up front. And it didn't work out. Some games looked like we were just dead on his feet and we couldn't get a break. And with Nunez coming in, that changes it a little bit. And Klopp's going to have to change the way he plays, I think, now. And like I said, I think if everything's going to be built around that now. Nunez is 22, so we need to concentrate on him and Diaz. Salah's, 29, 30? He's going to be going out in the next couple of years anyway, so we need to really think about our next sort of front three in a way, and our next midfield as well, because Henderson and Thiago are getting younger, and like the Bellingham and Gavi were being linked to, they're absolutely perfect to go into the next 5-10 years. So yeah, I think this is the biggest transfer window we've had, because not only is it a new era, we're at the top. A lot of different to what we was before. We could take chances and players. We could take chances on Mane and Salah and try to develop them. We don't want that now. We need like ready-made players, especially taking over Mane. That's a lot of goals to take over. So yeah, I do believe it is the biggest transfer window since Klopp's arrived.
And Jay, I think we've got fan channels of others. Mark Goldbridge and some other fan channels saying, well, yeah, we were interested in Nunez, but it seems now when Liverpool come calling, there's nothing we can do. Who's going on to sign up to a project when you can sign up to the finished article? It's a great place to be, isn't it, in terms of having that level of confidence from opposing fans about our signings, isn't it?
I was just going to say to you, mate, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know growing up as a Red, generally we always missed out on our targets to other clubs. Will.i.am, I remember we were after Diego Costa, they were all tough under our noses, even Gylfi Sigurdsson at one point, even though it turns out we were definitely best avoiding that one on loads of fronts. So,
Phil Jones.
Yeah, there's been so many, mate. Like the list can go on, but we're not that team anymore. We're the go-to, not the stepping stone. So that's brilliant, mate, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Now, it's probably worth pointing out, it's not done yet, but by most reputable reporters, most of the people who brought the Diaz news, most of the other fan channels, everything that we're seeing, we're hearing. You know, the transfer window only opened today, Drew, so there's a bit of work that needs to go into this, but from what we're hearing, it feels like it's going to be done. And that is what, signing number 2, potentially 3, depending on where you put Ramsey in this when it comes through. We're starting off strong in the transfer window. It doesn't feel very Liverpool-like, does it?
It depends. Like, I remember the Fabinho transfer and getting right in, kind of that statement signing. But I think especially for someone like Nunez, you need to get him in as early as possible. Like signing him late into the transfer window, that would not bode well for getting him into the team and just throwing him in to start, especially for that fee. Like, I like the fact that he'll have a full preseason with Klopp and be able to learn how Klopp wants him to play, give him that time to adjust to the system, learn the tactics, etc. Because I think you need all that time to really get up to speed as quickly as possible. You know, as we've seen in the past, sometimes Klopp's taken a long time to bed a player into the team. So I think getting them in early as possible and getting them up to speed as quickly as possible is crucial to help this transition be as easy as possible.
Yeah, and I'm just going to stop for a moment. Once again, Jen with the super sticker, thank you very much, £4.49. Please make sure if you are new here, you like and subscribe to the video. You can also now subscribe to the channel. We've got some stickers and some images that you can use on the channel. All money we make goes straight back into the channel. We are funded by Jen. She's brilliant in terms of contributing to the channel. So once again, thank you. But if you are new here and you do want to hear about Liverpool news and you do want to get involved in conversations, please do leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be talking about the team of the season. So if you do have a team of the season, start to put it in chat. Who your goalkeeper is, who your right back, left back, try and justify how Cristiano Ronaldo's made it into that team of the season. Can't wait to see some of those comments. But we're just going to talk about Nunez for a little bit, and then we are going to move on to the team of the season, who we think should be in the team of the season. So if you have any strong opinions about that, please do get it in the chat. Now, Damon, Fabio Carvalho's a more traditional 10. Nunez is a more traditional 9. Do you really think that there's more chance of Klopp changing his system to match those players or training those players to match Klopp's system? Because Nunez does come in off the left a little bit like what Mane used to do. So do you think that there's going to be revolution in terms of how we play, or do you think it's just going to be an evolution more so?
I think he has to in a way, because I think teams have started to figure us out in the last few seasons. And when we come up against low block, we seem to be just struggling to even get a decent chance off. So yeah, I do think the Nunez thing gives us a different dimension, doesn't it? I think Carvalho coming in as well. Again, he could play on the left as well as attacking mid. It also depends on what midfielders we get. I mean, if we get Bellingham, that's definitely going to be a free middle rather than number 10. So in terms of the attacking fee, I think it'll change up a bit because of Nunez. I don't think he'll drop back as much as what Firmino did and Jota's done, and even Mane at times has dropped back. But the midfield three depends who we get in midfield. If we get, like I said, if we get Bellingham, then it's going to stay the same three, isn't it? It's going to be Bellingham, Thiago, Fabinho.
I'm not getting my hopes up on Bellingham, Jay. For me, I know there's a lot of chat about it and stuff like that, but there's no logical sense for Dortmund to sell Bellingham right now, because 90 million, it's still going to be 90 million in a year's time. It's still going to be 90 million in 2 years' time. People are still going to pay it. Why would Dortmund sell? Are we just getting excited for no reason?
It depends what way you look at it. And I'll just answer that. Let me ask me a question in the chat dead quick. I go for Bellingham, mate, purely on how young he is. I love Barella as well, but Bellingham's younger, and I think he's more tailor-made for Liverpool. In answer to you, James, I think the thing is, it makes sense for us, but like you said, it doesn't make sense for Dortmund. It might make all the sense for us to go and get him, because other clubs have done other bits. PSG have just given back the keys to France, essentially. Real Madrid have just signed Tchouaméni. City have gone for Haaland. United are crap, so you wouldn't even look at going there. Newcastle aren't there or thereabouts yet, but then come next year, all these clubs that have done that business this year will be looking for a central midfielder next year. So I think if you went to Dortmund and said there's 50-60 and Naby Keita, and I know a lot of people love Keita, but who would you rather have out the two? I think they'd do business because they've already got a replacement and then they've got 50-60 million to play with. So it's definitely worth testing the water because it's going to be much harder to sign him next season than it is this season.
And if you could have one of the two, neither are done yet, Damon, you can have one of the two. You can have Bellingham or you can have Nunez. Who do you think is more important to this Liverpool team right now? What do we need right now? Because a lot of people would say midfield, but if we're going to lose Mane, we're going to lose goals.
Yeah, I think you'd have to go Nunez, wouldn't you? Just because losing Mane is a 30-goal season in it, so and Salah's not getting on older. We don't even know if Salah's going to stay yet. We know he wants to, but we don't know yet. So getting Nunez in guarantees at least that goal's taking over Mane's goals rather than Salah's goals. But Bellingham, do you have to choose both? One of either? You know, come on.
I think if we sign both, we're losing Salah this summer, I reckon.
I don't know.
Do you want both to lose Salah as well?
More. I think you're tempted to stay even more just because of the ambition that we're showing. I mean, Bellingham just makes so much sense, doesn't it? I think it makes more sense than Nunez, but I think Nunez is a better signing right now if I were choosing between them both. We can wait till Bellingham next year, but I think Nunez we need to get now because I think Man United would have got him. I do believe Man United would have got him. If no one else went in for him, I think Man United would have got him, and that would have been a waste of his career. So, for his sake, I think it's better we got him.
Drew, Salah's agent was once again making some brilliant statements on Twitter that just annoyed Liverpool fans. Now, I think Salah could go till he's 35 quite comfortably. He's a supreme athlete. He looks in great shape. Yes, he's had a drop off to the end of the season. But we need to get that signed. Nunez signed, midfielder. Transfer window done. Focus on pre-season.
Yeah, I think if everything you said got sorted out, then we could go forward in very good position to make a claim for all the big trophies again. I'm a bit tired of the Salah saga, to be honest. I think that he's really just got to, back up his words of his love for the club. Does he care more about money or does he care more about the club? I get the argument that he deserves, to be the highest paid because he's one of the best players in the world, but that's not how we operate. And, he, regardless of how much, FSG have to spend, I back them. I think they've shown consistently that they're willing to put money down. I think they've shown that since, Rodgers came into the field. Like, they've consistently backed managers, given them money. And, the Darwin Nunez, I don't think anybody was expecting that price tag. And the fact that we're talking about Bellingham possibly on top of that, you can throw out the FSG don't give, Klopp money to work with, because I think it's more along the lines of finding the right player at the right time. We're not going to overbid for a player just to bring someone in. I think we wait for that perfect player. But, I'd like Salah to sign that contract as soon as possible or just get rid of him, because I think it's this ongoing nonsense is frustrating, and it doesn't flatter Salah for me. But if we can do all those things you say, then I think we're the best team in the Premier League. And we'll see about Zidane with PSG, but I think shout out Champions League. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Pogba to PSG pretty much nailed on since he tried to sign him at Real Madrid, Zidane a couple of times. But, Jay, there's a lot of people in chat saying that they think Salah's going on a free end of next season. I know Barcelona have said this, that, and the other, but Barcelona can say whatever they like. They don't have two pennies to rub together to basically pay for anything at the moment. It's starting to feel a little bit like that, isn't it? This is going to be his last year, and then he's just going to go on a free and get a big payday, which is what a lot of players do nowadays.
It is, mate, yeah. Barcelona couldn't afford the back of the space either, so I don't know why they keep talking about signing Lewandowski's and Salahs and people like this. They need to sort their own stuff out first before they start speaking to other people's players, trying to turn their heads. But I'll be brutally honest, I don't see Salah signing any contract now. This has been going on for what feels like the best part of 12 months. If there was going to be a compromise, it would have been reached. And I think Liverpool would be stupid to let him go for free. I'd say to him, no, I'd give him a deadline. I'd say you've got till this date, you sign. Well, it's your final offer, you sign it or we're selling you. And that needs to be done now, because it's not good for anyone, mate. It's not good for the fans, him, or the club. We need to plan ahead, and if he's not part of the future, then see you later so we can sort ours out.
In your dream summer, Jay, I know Nkunku was really high on your list. Yeah. Obviously, if they're saying like, right, Salah, you're gone, is that the player top of the list for you?
1,000,000%, mate. To be honest, I would have went for Nkunku before Diaz. Nunez. Before Nunez. But Klopp knows a lot more than me. So that's just Klopp going for Nunez and spending that much money. The thing about this was, I said I thought the fee was risky. If Klopp's happy to spend 100 million on this player, mate, he is going to be the real deal. My first choice was Nkunku, but I'm not Jurgen Klopp. So listen to Jurgen Klopp, not me. Wrong, JK.
Yeah. And just to answer Nick Knack's question, Haaland, he's eligible to sign today. The transfer window only opened today. So as much as Haaland deal got all done and it's all pre-signed and everything like that, it'll be all the formal paperwork will be happening today and over the weekend. So yes and probably no at the same time. But I haven't seen a picture of him leaning yet. I know he's released something on Instagram in his dad's kit, but I think everyone knows that the Haaland deal's done because no one's coming in and rocking that boat. I want to move on to team of the season. And the team of the season, the PFA's team of the season, was quite an interesting team of the season. Mainly because for some reason Ronaldo made it in there. And I'm just going to keep saying for some reason Ronaldo made it in there. But we'll go from back to front because that's the best way of doing things. Now, Alisson, okay, I can see why he was goalkeeper of the season. I think I saw a really great article that he was worth 19 points to Liverpool in the last calendar year. But Alisson, let's say Alisson wasn't in this team of the season. Let's say he didn't play. Damon, who's your number 2 goalkeeper for team of the season?
A lot of people got Edison, weren't they? But I think Jose Sarr. I think he kept Wolves in a lot of games. I mean, the Wolves hardly scored this season. I mean, they were on the same goals as Brighton at one point. I mean, Brighton didn't have anyone. So yeah, Jose Sarr kept him in games. Yeah.
Jay, I saw you nodding. Drew, have you got anyone else that's in your head as to who you thought should have been the team of the season goalkeeper? I think Ramsdale had a good season, didn't he?
I don't think he had a great season. I think he got overhyped. Like he had the Hollywood saves, and I remember like Arsenal fans were hyping him up big into our first game against Arsenal this season, and then he conceded 4. Was at fault for a few of them, got put on his butt, and then went on to concede, I think, another 4 against us in the following 3 matches we played, and them not getting 4th. Yeah, he definitely had a few mistakes throughout the season, so I think, he had an all right season, but he's nowhere near the savior Arsenal fans make him out to be. I would have gone for probably Ederson just because, I think he's the second best behind Alisson, but Damon made a great shout with Salah.
Now, Jay, the back 4 was Trent, Van Dijk, Rudiger, and Cancelo. It feels a pretty strong back 4 to me. Is there anyone else that you should be part of that conversation, in your view? And please make sure you put it in the chat if there's anyone that you think should be part of the team of the season. If you've got your own team of the season, put it in chat. We're going to go through some. And just before you answer, Ramsdale should be England's number 1, in my opinion. I am bang on that because I think T-Rex Arms Pickford nearly got him relegated. So, yes, I'd agree with
Pope?
that.
Nick Pope?
Yeah.
He's gone down the pan this season compared to last. I did rate Pope. Every time we played him, he pulled off 8 world-class saves, but last season he went off the boil a little bit. And to be fair to Pickford, James, he probably kept Everton up toward the end. He made 2 ridiculous saves. I can't remember what game it was now, but my God. It might have been Palace.
Yeah, but a broke clock is right twice a day, isn't it?
Well, don't get me wrong, he probably dropped 15 points and made them back 6, so he's still at a minus if you put it all as one.
Couple saying that's it for the back 4?
No, to be honest, mate, the back four, I don't think you can argue massively. If you were going to be hugely biased, you could say
Unless you
Matip
go
could get in. No, you could say Matip got in. To be fair, Matip was brilliant this season, and you could say Robbo at left back, but I was actually really impressed with Rudiger this season, and I was with Cancelo, so I've got no arguments with the back four, to be honest. I can see why you might change it, but I don't think there's any issue with that back four. I think it is a very good back four.
Left backs is a bit of a... There's not much competition in the left back area at this moment in time. You know, Cancelo's a right back playing left back, and then you've got Robertson, who's a left back, and then you've got Costas, who's a really strong left back, and then probably Ben Chilwell, who was injured for half the season. Who were the other left backs out there that could have even come?
Brighton guy, Cucurella.
Cucurella, yeah.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
That's a shout.
Anyone else?
A very good shout.
Lamptey played right back, isn't he?
He didn't play much, did he? He was injured most of the season.
Okay, so we're pretty comfortable with the back line. I think the midfield is where it gets a little bit interesting. The midfield three, so we're going with the midfield, we're going with the 4-3-3, was Thiago, Bernardo Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I think to start with, we can all say Kevin De Bruyne, bang on, deserves to be in there. I think it then starts to get interesting about which Man City player and which Liverpool player you start to have in there. Anthony in chat is saying Rodri was robbed. Damon, who did you have in your midfield three?
I'd go with Rodri. I'd go with Rodri over Silva. I think it just offered more as a whole. I think I'd stick with Thiago just because it changed that Liverpool midfield, didn't it, Thiago? I mean, towards the end of the season, the last few months of the season, it just bossed every game. Every game he was in, even Naby came in and did well, but Thiago was something else. Yeah, I'd go Rodri. I would agree with that. I would agree with Rodri over Bernardo Silva. I think he started well with Bernardo Silva, but he sort of tailed off towards the end.
Why does Fabinho not get in these conversations, Drew? Because for my money, he's one of the best destroyers. I think there's only Casemiro who's anywhere near his stats. Why is no one ever talking about Fabinho in these types of situations?
I think for me, the only reason Fabinho wouldn't make it is because Rodri's just a shade better than him. And they play the same position. I think Fabinho and him, it's like, you're cutting fine margins at that point, but I think Rodri's goals add a huge dimension to City's midfield. Like, he comes up big. He showed that on the final day of the season, to our detriment. But I would fully back Fabinho in the squad as a Liverpool supporter. I think he deserves it, and I don't think him missing out means anything to his quality. I think he's as good as Rodri. Rodri just adds that little extra dimension on the goal scoring side. If you could fit both of them in, but it'd probably be too defensive at that point. So that's why I'd say Rodri above Fabinho, but nothing in that, to be honest.
Okay. Jay, Declan Rice had the furthest distance carried of any midfielder. So obviously, in terms of how West Ham played, he was carrying the ball. He was defensive midfielder, but he's carrying the ball forward, driving forward with the ball. Is he the best outside the top three that should have been in there? Is there anyone else outside the top three you think should have made it?
Well, I'd have had Phil Foden in it all day. I know he plays winger predominantly for City. But I think he is more of a midfielder. He played there for England the other month. And I don't watch England, but he was spraying passes for a laugh. So my midfield would have been Thiago, De Bruyne and Phil Foden.
Two players that need a shout-out, though, I'd say Conor Gallagher and Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, Conor Gallagher definitely was brilliant.
Unbelievable.
Really good.
How old do you have to be to win Young Player of the Year? Because Trent's 23.
Yeah.
So Trent's 23 and got in PFA Player Team of the Year, but Alexander-Arnold, who did get in Team of the Year, wasn't in the running for Young Player of the Year, which is a bit weird.
Saka. You mean Saka?
No. Foden won Young Player of the Year.
All right. Foden, yeah.
Alexander-Arnold got in the PFA Team of the Year, but wasn't in the running for the Young Player of the Year, despite the youngest player of the year in the Team of the Year. Which is just
I wonder if they look at it like it's a breakthrough season or something, and Trent feels like he's been around for centuries now, even though he's still a young kid. I think people forget how young he is because of how long he's been playing and how many games he's played. But I know what you're saying. You are right in what you're saying.
Yeah. So, in terms of the midfield, if we're sticking outside of the top, let's stick outside the top three. So no Chelsea, no Liverpool, no Man City. Who we were liking? We were liking Rice. We were liking Conor Gallagher.
Did you throw in Basuma at all to that shout? I
Did
know
he
he
have that
wasn't
big
fit.
in him?
My favourite this year is McTominay.
McTominay?
What?
Did all right, yeah. Did all right.
I don't know. I think the silence.
Did all right for us.
McTominay's a strange shout.
Did all right for us.
I just said Ward-Prowse. I think Ward-Prowse has a very good season.
Ward-Prowse, yeah, he's on track for record number of free kicks scored in the Premier League, isn't he?
Yeah, do you know what? I'd look at him, and I know that might be underwhelming for some Reds because they want some crazy European name or South American name. Ward-Prowse actually fits the way we play. He presses brilliantly. Like, the only thing about Ward-Prowse is he costs you something ridiculous because he's English. If he weren't English, I'd definitely look at him. I think he's a really good player.
He's on my
James
list.
Maddison had a good season as well.
Second half of the season, I think.
James Maddison, yeah. Last season he was a bit poor, wasn't he? When everyone was linked to him, he was terrible. But this season's it's sort of stepped up again.
I'll throw Kovacic in the ring too. I think he had a brilliant season.
He had one great volley. I'll give him that.
Nice.
But he was one of Chelsea's best midfielders throughout the season. Like, he used to be, a squad player in previous seasons, but he was starting more games.
Well, they bought Sal, didn't they, in a plan of replacing Kovacic, and there was all the talk of Liverpool interested in Sal from Atletico Madrid, and then he just didn't play at all because Kovacic just played the whole season. So he's probably a decent shout. Okay, so then we move on to the front three, and just Ward-Prowse is in my dream summer, by the way, just because I think he'd be bang on in our system. I think him and Henderson could split that role perfectly. Front three is Mane, Ronaldo, and Salah. Now, someone's reminded us in chat a few times that this was done in February, and obviously Son ended the season like a train. But we also have to remember Harry Kane didn't turn up for the first half of the season, and it was all carried by Son. How the hell did Heung-min Son not make it into this team? Has anyone got a rationale as to why Mane? For me, it's Mane or Ronaldo. How either of those played better than Son?
Must have been an Arsenal fan who picked it. That's the only logic I could come to.
I think it's favouritism in a minute, especially with Ronaldo. I mean, didn't he get player of the month? Or was it last month or month before? I think April. He got player of the month. Like, he didn't do anything. I think I can't remember what Mane had an absolute unbelievable. I think it was April because Mane had an unbelievable month that month, and I think a couple of others did as well. And Ronaldo got player of the month. I think it is favouritism. I think they love him in the Premier League. They wanna rub his feet when every time he wants something. It is favouritism, and that's the only thing you can describe it as.
Yeah, the marketing benefits from putting him in that.
Yeah.
Huge.
So what I'm going to ask you next, so have a bit of a think, and please do in the chat as well. Front three away from the top three. So yes, Ronaldo might make it into this one. I actually think he might be eligible for the best front three.
About top four, take Tottenham out.
Take Tottenham out.
Yeah, take Tottenham out. See, it'd be an interesting on that.
No Champions League teams. Who is your best front three of the season? And I'm just going to ask each of you to give me a name to start with, and then we'll build it out from there. So, Jay, give me the first name in your top three outside the top four.
Soccer.
Damon, I'll let you go next just to really put the
Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen. Oh, true. Have you got anyone? I'm trying to think of someone that's had a crack.
So I'm going to pass it to you, James. I'll pass it to you. Give you this opportunity to step on.
That's Saka wounded you.
Zaha's been good.
I was going to say Zaha, but
he's been pretty good again.
Zaha's been pretty decent. I was a big fan of Antonio for the first half of the season, but I don't
started well.
Through. Ivan Toney started well and dropped off.
Yeah, Vardy's good again.
anyone that's been consistent all season. Bowen, Saka, Ronaldo, we've got in the chat. Saka as a forward. As a front three, I think he could play on the left quite comfortably. And Ketty wasn't there.
What about Rafinha?
I don't think he was good last season, was he?
He's got decent numbers last year, Rafinha. He scored over 10, I think, in the league.
Yeah, I think he got 11
this year.
Yeah.
Ivan Toney's a shout. Who put Anthony Ivan Toney?
Yeah, Tony is a shout.
Yeah. So front three, we're talking Bowen, Toney, and Saka.
Yes, definitely Saka.
Yeah, shout out to Dennis from Watford because he plays for a shit team and he's done pretty well.
Yeah. That used to be Timo Pukki's title every year.
Yeah.
Well, every other year when Norwich were in the Premier League.
That's in next season, not this one, the one coming.
Well, yeah. And Louis put in chat, can we get 20 more subscribers? 200 people live in the stream so far. If you are new here, please make sure that you leave a like and a subscribe on the channel. It's a fully run fan channel and all money we make goes back into the channel. So if you do leave a like and a subscription, it's very much appreciated. We try to make content every single day, 7:30, just so that we can talk about all things Liverpool and we can talk about all things. Well, today we're talking about team of the season, which I think we're all in pretty much agreement. Most of the team of the season were comfortable with the decisions because you're always going to leave some people out. If there was one name for each of you that shouldn't be in there, Ronaldo. Who would you go with, Damon?
Yeah, Son. Son taking Ronaldo out. I don't know why Ronaldo's in there.
Yeah. Jay, is that the same for you? Ronaldo out, Son in?
If it's just one player, yeah, Ronaldo.
Drew for the hat-trick?
Yeah, I'll go with Ronaldo.
Yeah. No one in chat seems to be disagreeing. Oh, Watkins was an interesting shout for someone. I think he had a good second half of the season, didn't he, when Gerrard came in?
Yeah, Watkins had a decent season, to be fair. His numbers weren't bad this season. Let me have a little look.
And so that pretty much is us covering the team of the season. I think we're pretty happy with everyone that's been selected. I think in terms of the Nunez, where everyone's waiting for the announcement, the pin tweet from Liverpool's down. We're waiting for something to come up there. Everyone's saying it's done. Everyone's saying it's agreed. United tried to derail it the other day and it didn't work. Drew, would you like to get our transfer window done this month so that we can just sit back and enjoy? I think it's Tour of Asia we're going on, isn't it?
Yeah, that should be an interesting one. I think there's a lot of supporters that show up for us out there. So excited to see that. I think the games will be at redonkulous times for me out here at the West Coast. So chance to wake up at 3 a.m, watch a game for a change. But yeah, let's get the players in early and get them settled in so we can see them in the preseason.
Yeah, and we're getting an early Man United Liverpool in pre-season, Damon, and we've got Tar going to the game because obviously he's back in Thailand, contributed to the channel. You'll be able to see him on Scousers Abroad on this channel. I mean, it's not great news for United, is it, playing us so soon when we've got all this hype. And as we know in Asia, it's going to be packed stadium, 50-50, Liverpool United. It's going to be chaos, isn't it?
Well, Darwin Nunez playing for us as well. I think that's just going to be walking past Ten Hag, just like, you know that meme where he's with that girl.
He goes past like that.
He's looking back at another girl. That's what it is. It's Ten Hag walking with, he sees Klopp and yeah, unlucky, man.
And Jay, I think I'd like to see us sign 2 midfielders. I think Ox is going, isn't he? And I think, yes, there's a lot of talk about Jude. There's a lot of talk about Gavi as well. And I like the sound of Gavi. I think he could sort of play quite good for us. Is there anyone else that you're really hoping that we bring in?
I want one of the two out of Bellingham or Barella. And whichever one we don't get, I want us to go for the other one the year after. I think in the meantime,
because Inter Milan are financially trying to make the Lukaku deal happen, which means flogging everything.
The thing is, though, there's this weird thing with certain Italian players that just never want to leave Italy. I've got a feeling Barella's one of them. like, you know, Totti, Bonucci, Chiellini, Pirlo, I don't think left Italy either. All them players just have this thing where they want to stay in Italy. And I've just got a weird feeling that Barella's one of them type of players. And Chiesa as well. I think Chiesa could have moved before he went to Juve, but only fancied staying in Italy, which is a shame because they're all brilliant. But I'd like one of them two this year. Because we're only getting one of them, I'd take Eriksen on a free just for this year. Then next year he can go wherever and then sign one of the other big two. I like Kone at Gladbach as well. I think he'd suit it to the T. He's a bit like Basuma, and probably what we thought Navigator was.
Jen, if you're already subscribed, how do you get the badges? We have a subscription, so you should be able to see at the bottom of the videos. You can join, and then what you do is message Anthony, not Anthony, you message Louis, and he will show you how to use the badges on the right-hand side. So you should be able to use them that way, but I'm sure Louis will send you a message on how to do that. Damon, I'm going to finish with you. How about just stealing Sangara off United as well? Just really ruin their summer. All the players, all the major players they wanted, we'll have them. Thank you very much. Do what they used to do to us way back when. Let's start the Premier League just with them on the back foot.
We can give him Oxlade-Chamberlain, can't we?
Yeah, why not?
I would give him.
Fair deal. We'll
Do you know what? They can have Ben Woodburn as well if they want. I think he's about to leave, isn't he?
I know, Joe.
Sangay is a good player, though. Honestly, seriously, though, Sangay is a very good player. I think
Yeah, he is.
And
a lot of people, he's the next Kante.
Well, yeah.
I don't know about that.
But
I think you get those sort of players like Kante and stuff. It's so hard to find because I think they got into the League Two, didn't they? Liga Two, didn't they? In France. So players like that, it's just very good scouting. And if we get Sangara, then I trust our scouts were some of the best scouts in the business. And again, another one up on Man United. So fair dues.
Yeah. So this has been LFC Transfer Room. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the video. We are anticipating the Darwin Nunez confirmed news any time now. From what we're hearing, it's a done deal. And then all attention moves to Sangara, to Bellingham, to Gavi, to anyone else United are going to sign that we're interested in. We're just going to nick them from them as well. And then it moves to outgoings, getting rid of the Ox, getting rid, Origi's already gone. Taki potentially going to Leeds, which will kill me on the inside because I really rate him as a player. Make sure that, once again, you like, subscribe to the video. You can subscribe to us now to get some unique benefits and images and badges on the channel. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on a Friday. Get yourself a beer. It's lovely weather in the UK. We'll catch you on the next one, hopefully for a Nunez confirmed video. Thank you very much, everyone. Catch you on the next one.